Hello lovelies, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new here, welcome to the channel. I'm Liv and this is Orator Academy, where I help you improve your vocabulary one word at a time. And today's word is apocalypse. I don't need to tell you that we live in uncertain times. All over the world, countries are in conflict with each other. In Europe, battle lines have withdrawn and leaders are bracing themselves for oncoming conflicts that, if not managed correctly, could lead to the apocalypse, and that's not an overestimation.
Go forth and conquer! Vini! Vici! Vini!
I think that means I came, I saw, and I conquered.
Oh well, as long as they understand the conquer bit. Land of the brave! Hello!
The apocalypse. We use the term with dread and a small amount of nervous excitement, sort of in the same way we watched the pandemic develop. But if the apocalyptic book of Revelation is anything to go by, it won't be a walk in the park. So, what is it? What is the apocalypse? The word apocalypse is a noun, and its definition is the complete and final destruction of the world, as denoted in the book of Revelations. So what does the book of Revelation say about the apocalypse? Well, the book of Revelation was written about the year 96. That's just toward the end of the 1st century. The traditional story about the book of Revelation is that it was experienced by John, the apostle, while he was in exile on the Greek isle of Patmos. According to Revelation 6, verse 1 to 8, the 4 of 7 seals are opened to show John the things that would come to pass at the end of the world. In these verses, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are described in some detail, although the word apocalypse itself never appears in the book of Revelation or in any other biblical book. The first horseman is described, and it says, "Behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer." Now, scholars believe that this man on a white horse can be either Christ or the Antichrist. Now, the second horseman is described, "And there went out a horse that was red, and power was given unto him to take peace from the earth, that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a sword." This horseman represents war and bloodshed. The third horseman carries a balancing scale, rides a black horse, and represents famine. A voice is heard saying, "A measure of wheat for a penny, 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil or the wine." A measure in ancient Greek is called a kynix, and this amount represented roughly 1.1 liters. A penny, which was 1 Greek denarius, was approximately 1 day's wages for a common worker. The kynix appeared to be the allotted food for one man for 1 day, while the denarius was the wages for one man for 1 day. So this means a day's wages would only buy a day's food for one man, not his family. The kynix was 1/8 of the modius, and in normal times 1 denarius, a day's wage, would be able to buy a modius of wheat. The fact that 1 denarius would only buy 1/8 of what it typically would buy in normal times denotes great scarcity. Barley, which was considered the coarser food, would be able to be obtained at 1/3 of the normal price, which would allow a common laborer to feed his family, but with difficulty. The 4th horseman is described, "And behold, I looked, a pale horse, and he that sat on him, his name was Death, and hell followed him. And power was given unto him over the 4th part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the field." But those were only some of the things that John saw and wrote about concerning the end of the world. But we humans are a resilient bunch. Apocalyptic events have happened before, and we have survived them. Here are 5 apocalyptic events that humans have survived in our recent history. The first is the Toba eruption. Approximately 74,000 years ago, the Mount Toba supervolcano erupted in Indonesia, sending tons of dust and debris into the air, blanketing Indonesia, India, and the Indian Ocean in debris 6 inches deep. Believed to be the biggest explosion in human history, the blast achieved an 8 on the VEI and sent shockwaves around the world. Ash spread throughout the atmosphere, blocking sunlight and dropping global temperatures by 3 to 5 degrees Fahrenheit, disrupting plant and animal life and causing starvation for ancient humans. Some studies suggest that between 3 to 10,000 humans survived these drastic climatic changes. But whatever the true number is, the fact is humans survived. The second is the Ice Age. Earth suffered the full force of a deep freeze between 20,000 to 10,000 years ago. At that time, ice sheets covered the entire world and temperatures plunged by about 10 degrees. The world became harsh and inhospitable, and many large species like saber cats disappeared. Yet, Homo sapiens adapted to these drastically different climatic conditions against all odds. In the thousands of years following the deep freeze of the Ice Age, humanity's greater interconnectivity has allowed diseases to breed into pandemics. The bubonic plague is thought to be the worst of these diseases. It first appeared in around 541 AD and came close to wiping out the whole of mankind. The disease rampaged through Eurasia and Africa and wiped out as many as 50 million people in 1 year. In 1347, it reappeared to wreak havoc on humanity, and this time it wiped out as many as 200 million people. Yet, we survived. About a century after the Black Death, globalization triggered another spate of diseases. Europeans arrived in the New World starting about 1492, bringing with them smallpox, introducing this and a series of other dangerous diseases to Native American societies who had no prior immunity to them. An estimated 80 to 95% of indigenous populations died from these diseases within 100 to 150 years. The planet's CO2 and overall temperatures dropped so drastically, bringing on a period known as the Little Ice Age. This more subtle ice age continued to impact North America as late as 1850. Still, humans survived. The last is the Tambora eruption. Around the time that the effects of the Little Ice Age began to dissipate, another supervolcanic blast sent the world into a volcanic winter. In April 1815, Mount Tambora on the Sumbawa Island in Indonesia burst open, sending smoke, volcanic ash, pumice, and debris into the atmosphere. The event killed 10,000 islanders instantaneously, and once again, the effects rippled worldwide. As many as 100,000 to 200 people died worldwide due to starvation and sickness. The Tambora supervolcano remains active to this day. In addition to these events, annual events like forest fires, etc. threaten to wipe humanity from the face of the earth every year, but here we still are. So when was the word apocalypse first used, and what did it mean in its original context? Apocalypse has come to be used synonymously with catastrophe, but the Greek word apocalypsis, from which it is derived, means a revelation. The book of Revelation in the New Testament has the literal meaning in Greek, the Apocalypse of John. The word apocalypse means a revelation or that which is uncovered. The earliest known use of the word apocalypse in the English language is in the Old English period, pre-1150. The next appearance of the word apocalypse in English was in the Wycliffite Bible, which is the earliest English version made from the Latin Vulgate around 1382 to 1385. Naturally, with the translation of the Bible made from Latin into their native tongue, people began using the word apostrophe more widely and applying it to any event that could be deemed a catastrophe. In the present day, many movies and games are made with the word apocalypse in their titles. That word is searched over 100 times a day in the UK alone. We clearly have an obsession with the word. What is it we're trying to uncover, I wonder?